Good morning. Okay. We need 166 grams. Thank you. I know. I love this apron. I got it from like a Kickstarter. It's so cool, right? It has the little breads, and then it has like this hook. It has this pocket. It has this pocket, this pocket, this pocket, this pocket. So that's 5 pockets. And then look at the hardware. It's so cute. I need to wash it. But yeah. And then look at that. It's so fun, right? I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It was worth every penny. I actually should, who is it? Quinoa Monster. I found this artist on Twitter back when Twitter was fun. Back when Twitter was fun. Remember that? I used to love it. I found so many artists on Twitter. I have so much art and so many different things in my apartment. Back when Twitter was fun. But anywho, good morning. It's Saturday morning. I am squeezing in a little bit of cake practice before I have to take my dog to the groomer in a few hours. But I made this cake earlier this week. We learned lots of things, and I'm making this cake for a talent show at the end of November, and I want to make it a few times so that when I make it in a few weeks, I know exactly what is going with me when I go on stage to decorate it, because I don't want it to just look good. I mean, we do want it to look good. That's a big part of what we're working on today, is the color of the cake. But we also want it to taste good, because I do want the judges to eat it after I decorate it. Although, really, the decorating is the talent. Hello, call me Goober, and I love your apron. I'm literally obsessed with bread. I know, right? It's so cute. It's so, so cute. The little toast. It's so cute. Yeah, Quinoa, Kinwa Monster. I'm pretty sure is the artist that designed it. So go check them out. Go check them out. Okay, so I realized right when I was getting ready to start mixing the cake that I don't have raspberry glaze for our raspberry bread. Hi. We don't have raspberry glaze for our raspberry bread. For our raspberry cake. Our Galinda cake, because I'm making a wicked cake, a raspberry cake and then a pistachio cake, and then we're splitting them and layering them. But before I can make the Galinda cake, we have to make our raspberry glaze. So I'm doing a mix of fresh raspberries, the last nice ones that I had left from the last grocery order. And we need 166 grams of raspberries. So we're just going to take some of this raspberry preserve that I had in the fridge and use it to get up to 166 grams. 167.8. That's fine. A little bit more is fine. So put that away. Now we're going to take our fresh raspberries and our raspberry preserves. We're going to put them into a saucepan with some lemon juice. Oi, come on. With some lemon juice and some powdered sugar. No, regular sugar. Regular sugar, not powdered sugar. Regular sugar. Regular sugar. We need We need 30 grams. Should have weighed this out first. I got excited. 30 grams sugar. We need 6 grams of cornstarch. 6 grams of cornstarch. Sorry, I'm moving very fast. I realized I dumped everything in before I had everything I needed. 4, 6.3, I'll take it. And then we need lemon juice, butter. We need a little bit of butter. A little bit of butter. We'll just take this. Boom. Beautiful. And then a tiny bit more lemon juice. Ooh, and if you have cuts in your hand, ouchie. Oh, ouch. And half a, oh my God, ow. Ouchie. And then half a teaspoon of freeze-dried strawberries. Okay. We're just gonna mix this up really quick. I know, right? I have like a little cut on my finger that when I was squeezing the lemon juice, it's like, oh, you have a cut in your finger. Hello. But I'm okay, thank you. Thank you for checking, I'm okay. Okay, so we're going to, over a little bit of heat, we're basically taking our fresh strawberries, raspberries, our fresh raspberries, our raspberry preserve, and our freeze-dried raspberries. It's a trio of raspberry processing, some sugar, a little bit of lemon juice, and some cornstarch. And now we're just gonna mix it over heat till it simmers for a bit, and then we'll strain it. And then we'll strain it. Okay. So you can go in there and break up the raspberries. So see, it starts to look a little bit like that. Has about 3 minutes left to go. I love raspberries. Raspberries are my favorite fruit. I eat them all day long. I know, I love raspberries too. I love raspberries and strawberries. They're my favorite. And actually, when I was a little girl in Puerto Rico, I grew up in Puerto Rico, there on my grandfather's property, we used to go for hikes in the mountains, and there's strawberries, but they look like raspberries. They're like a cousin in between. Oh my God, they were the best. And we used to go and like grab a giant leaf and like pick. Oh, I miss him so much. Oh, it makes me want to cry. And we would pick the berries and we would use the leaf like a bowl, and then we would bring some back to the house, but of course we're like nibbling on them along the way. Anyways, I miss my grandfather a lot, but I know that he's swimming in heaven somewhere. Okay, we're gonna come back to our yummy raspberry glaze that's coming together. We have about 1 minute left, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off. Hello. Okay, so now very carefully, because this is hot, so you want to be careful. You don't want to hurt yourself. We're gonna take our raspberry mixture and we're gonna pour it into our strainer very carefully because this is very hot. Muy caliente. You don't want to burn yourself. Muy caliente. Okay. Ooh, okay, that's hot. That's hot. That's hot. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, that's hot. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, great. Now comes the fun part. Now we gotta get all that yummy, gooey glaze out of there and keep the seeds in our sifter. But you gotta work at it. You gotta really work at it. And just keep scraping away. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Scrape, scrape, scrape. And see, we end up having all that yummy glaze in our bowl. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna get as much as we can out of here. Still coming out, so I'm gonna keep tapping it. All right, one more scrape. Yeah, I think we got. Now, I gotta find something to do with these. If somebody knows in the chat what to do with like the seeds, I guess besides throwing them in the ground to see if they grow into something, right? Like is there anything that you can do with this? It feels so wasteful. But for now, I'm gonna toss it. What? Okay. All right. So now we have our raspberry glaze. Raspberry glaze. The kind you find in your kitchen store. Raspberry glaze. These are a pain in the butt, so I'm trying to clean it before they get all stuck in there. Okay, great. So now, oh, cramp. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the fridge. Let's put this in a more shallow bowl. Let's put this in the fridge. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the freezer because we want it soon. All right. Actually, I'm just gonna put it in the fridge. Okay, so now let's prep our pans. We're using clean our space a little bit. If this is the first time you're watching me, I like to clean up as I go because I'm a neurospicy baddie. And too much chaos starts to make me overwhelmed. And then when I get overwhelmed, I miss a step, I make a mistake, and we don't want to make mistakes. The biggest one I always make, and I forget always the cream at the end because it's the last step. So I'm going to start saying it now so I don't forget it. I can't forget the warm cream at the end. I can't forget the warm cream at the end. Okay. All right, pretty easy peasy. We're making cloud cakes today. So all we're really doing to prep our pans is using parchment paper. I have these parchment rounds that have been sitting in my cabinet for a while actually, and I just found them. So we're making good use of them. And we're literally just lining the bottom. And because these are sponge cakes, AKA cloud cakes, we're not gonna grease the pan because we want the cake to climb up the sides of the pan. So we've prepared our pans. Now I'm going to check the temperature in the oven because we want the oven to be at the right temperature for as long as possible. It's at 325. I think that's what we need for this. Yep, 325. So now, next thing that we're going to do is separate our eggs. Fun. This is where my clumsiness sometimes gets the best of me. But we're gonna make the best of it. So for this recipe, the whites are gonna get mixed into like almost like a fluffy meringue type texture. And the egg yolks for this recipe all get added in at once. So thankfully, I don't have to separate each yolk. There's other recipes that the yolk goes in one at a time, and then you need like a separate little container. I do, because I like to separate them out ahead of time. But again, for this one, our goal right now is we have 7 eggies. 7 eggies. We need to separate out the whites from the yolks, and then we're gonna measure, we're gonna weigh out on our scale the whites and the yolks because we do want an exact measurement. This is an exact science. So let's start with our eggies. Yolks are gonna go in here. Whites are gonna go in here. Shells can go back into the carton because the carton's trash. Okay, I'm getting nervous. Yesterday, when I was by myself, I ruined, oh, that's another thing I need to remember is that I need to have a bowl that they go into and then separate out in case something breaks. So, okay, good reminder. Okay, so let's do yolk in here, white in here. Because what happens is that sometimes the yolk breaks, and because we need it to be separated, if I was putting it into the main container with everything, that broken yolk would ruin my batch of like 6 egg whites that I already had, and that happened to me. So I've learned. So now we basically have 3 containers for our egg separation. We have the one that we originally catch our egg white into, and we very carefully try not to pop our yolk and get all that white separated. Gently we put that egg yolk in there. Okay. All right. Oh, let's put our white. Okay, do that again. Con calma. Con paciencia. This is where I have to be team gentle, not team too much. Because sometimes I'm team too much. And sometimes I forget how strong I am. Because I'm strong. 16-inch biceps. Check it out. I just had my personal trainer on my podcast. We talk about how I gained 3 inches on my biceps in the year that I've been working with her. Boom. There we go. But yeah, if this is the first time you're hanging out with me, hi, I'm MeMeCherry. I like to bake sometimes. I also have a podcast. It's called Series of Fortunate Events. It's on this channel as Sophie, S-O-F-E, Series of Fortunate Events. And my most recent guest was my personal trainer. And we had such a fun time. We talked about dating. We talked about dating etiquette. We talked about gym etiquette. We talked about all kinds of fun things. So yeah, go check it out. 3 inches with Millie Rock. I see some shell bits in our whites. Oh, let's see, can I get them out? They're kind of little. Do I care? Not right now. Okay. We gotta keep going. It's the ADHD. It's the ADHD. That neurospicy body, baby. Okay, we have 3 eggs left, but we're doing good so far. I'm not gonna jinx it. Let's not get too excited. Don't get too excited. Okay. Gotta focus. Gotta focus. Gotta focus, man. Ugh. I hate breaking the yolks. It makes me feel like such a failure. I like a nice clean yolk that you can then boop, plop with its other little yolk friends. Okay. I see a little shell piece in there. I want to get it out. So there's a trick that if you want to get shell pieces out of your, see, look, use a bigger shell piece and they attract to each other, and you can like scoop out little shell bits using a bigger shell piece. Cute. Okay, yeah, that was bothering me. Especially because we're making meringue out of our egg whites. We want our egg whites to be as egg whitey as possible. We want to limit anything other than egg white. Okay, we have 2 eggs left. I'm like holding my breath. I'm telling you, I get nervous. Come on. I don't want to break the yolk. Ay, mamacita. There we go. Okay. All right, little egg yolk. Bloop. Look at that. Beautiful. 1 more egg. 1 more eggy. Ooh. Please don't crack up. Please don't break on me. Oy. All right. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So now, I feel like I sound like an Australian cat. Okay. Those and other dad jokes. Okay, let's clean up a little bit our mess. Great. Honey, no. Honey said, not on my watch. Not on my watch. Yama Van Sant, not on my watch. She said, no, not today. Okay. So now, let's see. Okay, great. Let's weigh out our egg whites. Okay. We need 210 grams. 210 grams of egg white. $210. $177. 212. We need 210. So let's fish out those bobbly bits. The little membrane bits. Let's just fish those out. $212. Another little membrane bit down there. Come on. Come on. Come on. No. Okay, 210. Beautiful. 210.2. There's a little more membrane. $210.1. Tiny bit more membrane. No. Boom. Okay. 210. Beautiful. And it's nice and clean egg whites. No shell, no membrane. Just nice, clean egg white. It's a little, ¿cómo se dice? Meticulous, but I believe it makes a difference. Okay. Now, we have our separated eggs. We have our raspberry glaze. Now we have our pistachio paste. Let's make sure we have enough. 50 to 60 grams. This is fresh pistachio paste that I made a few days ago for this recipe. To 60 grams. 50, so let's do 60 grams because I want that pistachio flavor to come through. So let's see. 19. 41. 50 to 60. I think it might be all of this. 63. Yeah, might as well. Let's just use it all. Okay. All right, beautiful. And we used up all of our pistachio paste, which is great. Great. Okay, now we're going to take a tiny bit of milk. I'm going to pour it in here. A little bit of milk. I'm going to take a tiny bit of almond extract, and we're going to add it to our pistachio paste just to bump that nutty kind of forward flavor in our cake. So a little drizzle. And because this is a cloud cake, but it's also a wicked alphaba cake, I do want it to be green. So we're gonna put our gel food coloring is gonna get added to this pistachio paste that I'm trying to slowly make a little more loose with this milk without making a total mess. And actually, this. We're using Wilton leaf green to try to get our alphaba green color. So we take with a toothpick, just pop that color right in there. See, it gives us that nice alphaba green. So let's see. But a little goes a long way. So let's see how this fares. Oh yeah. Now remember, this is gonna go into our cake, so it will dilute a bit. And last time I did it, the cake ended up being a little lighter than I wanted it. So I do want this to almost be like nuclear green, so that when it gets folded into the cake batter, we still maintain some of that, we maintain some of that vibrant green. But the thing is that we can always add a little more green color to our cake batter, but because it's a sponge cake, we don't want to mix it too much. So I'm trying to avoid that extra mixing that would happen at the end to like get the color going. So I'm actually going to add, this feels really strong, but I feel like this is how it was last time, and I feel like it definitely could use a little bit more last time. So we're just going to go wild, and we're just going to drop some more alphaba green in there, and we just get that right in there. like that. It's become almost like forest green. Hi. Okay, so this is our pistachio base for the half of the batter, because what we're gonna do is make a base batter and then we're gonna split it. And then one half will get the addition of the pistachio, and then the other half will get the raspberry glaze half that we're gonna make now. So 40 grams. So just earlier, we just made this raspberry glaze, so it's been in the fridge setting. We're gonna take 40 grams. 40 grams. $37, 41. Actually, you know what? A little bit extra is fine. We want that raspberry flavor to come through. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this back in the fridge. And now we're also, because again, we want that raspberry flavor to be very forward. If it's meant to be green, pistachios ground, it does not need to be new. No, I'm doing an alphaba cake. And when this goes into the batter, it's gonna dilute. And the last time I made it, it ended up being too light. The green was not strong enough. So now I want it to be stronger. So we're experimenting. That's why it's an experiment. So that's why. That's why I'm going nuclear. And it's alphaba green, you know? Okay, so we take a little bit more. So we take our freeze-dried raspberries. And we're gonna crush these in here. Just like that. Just like that. And then for our Galinda pink, we're going to do a combination of 2 pink shades. So we're going to use Rose, Wilton, this is Wilton, right? Yeah, we're using Wilton Rose color, and I'm trying to find the one that's open, and Wilton regular pink. So we're gonna be mixing these 2 pinks for our Galinda. And again, just like our pistachio half, it's a sponge cake. So I'm trying to get as much of the color in our like infusion kind of like blend, so that when we mix the cake, we don't over mix our cake. We can always add a little more color in if we need to, but I'm trying to get this very saturated so that when it gets mixed into the bigger cake batter, it doesn't lose so much of its intensity. So we're gonna take our Wilton Rose, take a nice glop of that, and then our pink Wilton, just like a soft baby pink. And again, the last one that I did that was pink was a little too light. So today we're bumping up the intensity to see if we can keep that saturation when she gets mixed into the cake. So we're gonna put these away. Okay, so now we have our two pinks that we want to get into our mix. Thing is that there's more liquid in here. This one there's a little less, so it's a little harder. So let me get creative. Let's get creative. Let's scrape it off the toothpick so we can get it all off. Okay, scrape it all off. Okay, so I got it mostly off the toothpick, and now we're just gonna, with our little knife, just, see, this one's harder because it's already red because of the raspberry, so this one is a little harder to read how it's going to come out on the cake, but as long as it's pink, that's all that really matters. But I want it to be like a bright, like a Glinda pink. Glinda is like bright pinky bubbly, right? Here we make cakes plain or marble. Oh, nice. Yeah, well, I have a very specific goal with this cake. I got booked for a show. I got booked for the talent show in San Francisco, and it'll be the week that the Wicked movie comes out. So because I am a marketing branding genius, as my drag mommy likes to say, my cake that I'm going to use for my talent is going to be Wicked themed. And so that's why we have our green pistachio cake and my pink raspberry cake. I don't usually make super colorful cakes, but I am trying to impress the judges, so colorful we go. All right, so now that we have our flavor and color bases set aside, we have our egg whites that have been measured, we have our egg yolks. Now we need to sift our flour. So we're gonna take a couple of bowls. I need to wash my sifter and dry it really quick. So that's gonna take me a second, so I'm so sorry. I need a second one. I need two sifters. One sifter is not enough. One is not enough. One is not enough. One is not enough. We sometimes make velvet cake, which is red. Yeah, red velvet cake is fun. It's so funny too that like so many people don't realize that red velvet cake is basically a chocolate cake. Like I know people that are like, I don't like chocolate, but make me a red velvet cake. It's like, okay. Should I not tell you that it has cocoa in it? Okay, so I just washed my little sifter, but I've found that if I run my hair dryer over it for a minute, it really helps dry out the wet spots where the flour is gonna get caught. So I'm not gonna stop the live. I'll just keep the live going, but I'll be right back in 1 minute. I'm gonna go dry this off so that we can sift our flour. right. And just like that, we have a dry sifter. Just to make sure. We're running one more time with the paper towel. Great. Okay, awesome. Now, we're going to use 2 bowls. And we're going to take our scale. We're going to take our bowl, our scale, and our sifter. Okay, so what I like to do is I put the bowl and the sifter sitting on the bowl. Oh, yeah, but then they take so long to get through the sifter. And anyways, that's a good idea, but then it also takes forever to get through the sifter because those egg whites are goopy. Okay, so we have our bowl, our sifter, and now we need 150 grams of cake flour. So, oop, I see a drop of water. I still see a drop of water down there. This is still wet. 1 second. Okay, there was a little drop of water that came out the edge, and we don't want to get gloops of flour stuck. We don't want any water. Okay, are you dry now? Okay. 150. 150. 126. 139. 143. 148. 148.8. 151. 149. 150.2. Boom. Close enough. Okay, great. And then 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1 teaspoon baking powder. 1 teaspoon baking powder. 1 teaspoon. Okay. And then let's sift this. Three times. Okay. So Whoa, you stay right there. Okay, that's one, sift number one. Okay, sift number two. Two. Okay, great. Now number three. Okay, sift number three. Boom. All right, and then we need 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, which is about what I have in here. So that's that. Okay, great. So now we have our sifted flour. Okay, great. Now, let's lay out the rest of our ingredients. We have our cake flour, our baking powder, our sea salt. We have our egg whites. We need 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. This goes with the egg whites, so we'll put it right into the egg whites. 1/4 teaspoon cream of tartar. One teaspoon vanilla bean paste. One teaspoon. And then we need the heavy cream, which is the part I always forget. So, because we're splitting it, we need it split. So, we're using 40% heavy cream, and we need 30 and 30. 32. 31. 30. Boom. Boom. So we have our 30 and 30. Okay, leave that there so I don't forget it. Okay, so we have our cake flour, our baking powder, our sea salt, our egg whites, cream of tartar. Oh, we need 200 grams superfine sugar. So we're using superfine baker's sugar, and we need 200 grams of sugar. Okay, we need 200 grams.
Anyone with brains knows that.
200 grams.
Her laugh is infectious. So is her bite. La Ford Maverick 2025 redefine que una camioneta puede ser.
203. 200. Beautiful. Okay. So that's our baking sugar. Thank you. Okay. Okay, we have our sugar. We have egg yolks, vanilla bean paste, heavy cream. Okay, now we get to work. Now comes the real work. Let me see, I have to take honey to the groomers at 11:15, which means we need to leave here at 10:45, which means I have a little over an hour still left. Okay, great. Make sure time doesn't get away from me. Okay, we have all of our ingredients weighed out. We have our pans prepped. Let's check our oven temperature. Hi. Perfect, 325. Okay, now, we ready for some magic? We ready for magic to happen? This is where the magic happens. This is where the magic happens. Okay, now we're gonna take, we have our mixer. Gotta clean this bowl. Our bowl is not clean. I thought I ran the dishwasher last night, but I did not. Let's clean this really quick. Okay. And especially because we're making meringue, we want to make sure that it's really clean. Hi, I'm baking some cake. Hi, Danny. How you doing, Danny? So if you were around earlier this week, you saw me working on what I'm calling the Wicked Twin Cloud Cake, which I'll show you guys my drawing of what I have in mind. Okay, so we have a clean bowl now. clean, dry bowl. Beautiful. Okay, great. So let me go get my drawing. So I'm still in the recipe development phase of the recipe, but the final form will look like this. I ordered cake pans, and one of them came in the mail and it was bent. It was like warped, so I have to send it back and get it replaced. So I'm still waiting for cake pans, heart pans, to come in. So right now we're just making a circle cake, but the idea is that we're testing our colors and our flavors and our cake texture. I want it to be a fluffy cake. I want it to be pink. I want it to be green because it's like Elphaba and Glinda. It's our Wicked cake. I'm ultimately making this cake for a talent show for the week of November 20th, which is the week that the movie comes out. So hello, let's make a Wicked cake for the week that the Wicked movie comes out. But instead of waiting till then to make it for the first or second or even third time, because I want it to be perfect, we're making it now to try it out. So today's goal is we're making the cakes again, and what I'm experimenting with today is the color. They came out a little light last time in color, so I want a little bit of a richer, deeper color, more of a green, more of a pink pop. I want to dial in the flavors. Like, I really want the raspberry cake to taste like raspberry. I want the pistachio cake to taste like pistachio. And I want to work on the lift of the cake. I got some pretty fluffy cakes last time, but those can be a little hit or miss for me because cakes are still pretty new to me, especially sponge cakes. So that's why we are practicing. So today is a practice kind of day. So let's get started. Let's get the magic going. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we've already sorted out our ingredients. And so we're going to now okay, so we have our 210 grams of egg whites and a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And oh, perfect. We're gonna take our balloon whisk. Okay, and very slowly, we're gonna get this to soft peaks. And then once we get to soft peaks, we'll start adding in our sugar. So do not forget the cream. Do not let me forget the cream. I always forget the cream at the end. The cream is the last step. I have to add the cream in to each divided batter, which is why I forget. I need to do it before I pour it into the pan. So before I pour into pan, do I have the cream? Before the pan, did I do the cream? Before the pan, did I do the cream? Okay. We're gonna slowly bring up the speed. I'm still gonna have a banana. So I just realized I didn't have breakfast. I'm starting to see the bubbles form around the edges of the egg whites. It starts to look like sea foam. A lot of baking, for as much as it's time sensitive, a lot of it is visual and texture cues too, so you want to keep an eye on it. So I like keeping an eye on the meringue while it's happening. Another thing that we have to do at one point is mix our egg yolks with a one-third of the sugar. So I'm going to do that now while we have this mixing. So let's take some of our sugar. And with an immersion blender, at the same time as our meringue is happening, we're going to mix our yolks and our sugar till it's fluffy and light. They look like this now. Let's take a look. I don't think we're there yet, but I want to show you where we're at. And we want to bring it down slowly. It's like a plane. You don't want to go up too fast and you don't want to come down too fast. So, right now, it has a little bit of shape, but not soft peak just yet. So we're not there just yet, but we're close. So, again, very slowly, we bring the plane back up in the air. You start to also see the swirls kind of like left behind. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay. Now, it has a little bit more of a shape to it and a little bit of a soft peak. So I'm gonna call that we've reached soft peak. So now we're gonna get it going again and we're gonna slowly add our sugar. All right. So now, 6 minutes. And now we wait again. How are you guys doing? How's your Saturday? I'm gonna go open the blinds. It's raining outside, which means my blow dry is ruined. Meow. 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 Okay, let's see. What else can we prep? We're gonna need 2 bowls. We're gonna need a bowl for our raspberry. I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. That's the base for our raspberry cake. sorry. All right, let's see. I think we are now at the next step. Okay, so okay, now that's about soft, and we want stiff peaks. So we gotta keep going a little bit longer. These are about medium stiff. They're not, I wouldn't call it stiff. So let's do a little bit more. We're almost there. All right, let's see. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, see how they stayed connected? The balloon whisk and the top of the peak? That's a good sign. And then see how it stays standing up? That is our stiff peak. So we've reached stiff peak, which is our goal for our egg whites. And now we're gonna take, let's make some space. Okay, so now we have our egg white meringue-like mixture, and we have our egg yolk mixture, and we have our vanilla bean paste. So I'm gonna pour the vanilla bean paste into our egg mix. Make a little spatula. Okay, I'll take our vanilla bean paste. Great. And now we're going to now pour this in here. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to very gently mix this together, fold it into itself very gently. We're basically scraping the bowl and folding, scraping the bowl and folding, scraping the bowl and folding. And now we're gonna add our dry mixture. A little bit. Scrape the bowl and fold it. 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 Now, the base recipe that I'm using for this is, her Instagram account is Passion for Baking. She has an app called Love Manuela. And so I took her special sponge cake recipe and just slightly adapted it for this purpose, for these cakes. Okay, since we still have to mix, there's some flour pockets, but we still have to divide it and mix our flavorings in. So I think I'm just gonna do one more scrape, one more scrape, one more fold, and then let's figure out our batter weight, and then let's divide it, and then we have to remember to put our cream in, because I always forget the cream. So let's see, we have okay, so we have okay, so let's scrape off the paddle. We don't want the paddle in the bowl because we don't want the weight of the paddle. Okay, so now we're going to take our scale, 1326.5 minus 638.2 for the bowl equals 688.3 divided by 2. 344 is our target. So now let's put our little bowl here. 344. So now we need to get 344 grams out of this bowl into this bowl. So let's do that. $3.44. $3.44. $3.36. $3.46. We need $3.44. $3.44. Boom. Boom. Okay, so now we're going to very gently finish folding our batter with our raspberry and our pistachio. So let me take this. Let's get this all in here. Go. Okay, great. So now all we have left to do is very gently and quickly. We want to move quickly, but I also like to clean up because I get overwhelmed. And then when I get overwhelmed, I make mistakes. And I don't want to make mistakes. So, a little bit of cleanup. Let's get this out the way. Okay, so we have our pistachio alphaba cake that we're now going to fold in our pistachio mixture and our food coloring. But we don't want to lose any of the air, so we're just scraping the bowl and folding. Scraping the bowl and folding. Scraping the bowl and folding. Scraping and folding. Now we're pretty much ready to put our alphabet cake Okay, so this is our alphabet cake. We're gonna pour it into our pan that's waiting for us. Okay. See, I forgot the cream. Okay, but we're gonna do it in the pan. See, I forget the cream every time. Okay, so we need to pour it in the edge of the batter. See, I almost forgot again. It's your fault. Okay. Pour it on the edge. And then we're supposed to just gently fold it in. So let's just do that here. A little fold action. Okay. So that's the cream that I always forget. I always remember as soon as I put it in the oven. So at least this time we caught it before we put it in the oven. Okay, so our alphabet cake is ready to go in the oven, but first, let's do our raspberry and make sure that we don't forget our cream this time. So here's the other half of our cloud cake with our raspberry base at the bottom. And we're just gonna fold this together very gently, just like that. Very gently. Very gently. See that beautiful pink color coming in now? Look at that. That's our Glinda cake. And now, before we put it in the pan, we're gonna follow our instructions and we're gonna take the other half of our warmed up cream. We're gonna pour it on the edge of the bowl. And then we also very gently fold it in. Okay, great. So now we're gonna take our beautiful raspberry cake, Glinda pink batter, and we're gonna pour it into our pan very gently, making sure we scrape all the sides of our bowl down. Okay. And as I was scraping the bowl, a lot of our raspberry was at the bottom. So we're just gonna very gently swirl this in so that we get all of our beautiful raspberry flavor in our cake. Just like so. Okay, great. So now, both of our beautiful Wicked cakes are ready to go in the oven. We have our raspberry Glinda cake, and we have our pistachio alphaba cake, and we're gonna pop these in the oven. And now, we set the timer. For 30 minutes. So 30 minutes on the oven and 30 minutes on my watch. Okay, great. And now, is when, now is the time of our broadcast when I'm going to clean up and let the cakes do their thing in the oven. But I'm gonna remind you, hi, I'm MeMeCherry. If this is the first time that we're hanging out, I like to go live. Oh, I can't wait to see what they look like when they're done. I know they're gonna be so cute. I made this recipe already once this week and it came out pretty good. And now I'm trying to take it to the next level. So my previous batch, the colors were a little light. I like the color a little bit better this time. I think we got a little bit more color saturation, and I'm excited to see how the flavors come through because I really want that pistachio flavor to come through in the cake, and I really want that raspberry that raspberry flavor to come through. And then I still have leftover ganache. And I also, part of my weekend plans is to practice piping because I'm not pretty good at piping. I'm so excited to see Wicked for Good. Did you get your tickets already? I already got my tickets. The town that I live in has the cutest theater. It's like an old theater that was redone, like refurbished, but they still, one of the theaters is like the main old big one. And it's like a giant theater, but then they still have like the nice recliner seats, like the new modern seats. So I already got my ticket for the first day that it comes out. Although I'm tempted to also do the Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon, you can see it the earliest. Amazon this time gets the first screening. So before it's out in movie theaters, it's going to be on Amazon. But I want to see it in the movie theater. So I think I'm going to wait till I see it in the movie theater. I saw the last Wicked movie in the movie theater 5 times in the theater. So I'm so excited. And then this theater, it's supposed to be doing the double feature of like the first and the second, but every time I keep trying to get tickets for the first, like for the first half, it doesn't give me the option. What did you think of Wicked? I loved it. I never saw the play. I was never like a musical girly. I read the book years ago and I really didn't remember much of it. I'm actually started rereading it and I should finish it now, actually. I should try to finish it before the second movie comes out. I loved it. I cried, I laughed, I sang. I made my mother watch it. She texted me after a flight. She was like on a flight home and she's like, I watched the movie on the plane and I cried. I can see why you loved it so much. So yes, my love for Wicked is coming out in cake form. So again, as a little recap, I got booked for the talent show in San Francisco. It's a fun event that some friends of mine put on, and you can just put in whatever. Who do you think is the best alphaba? You know, again, because I'm just a movie girly, I only know what there is only one alphaba. There is only Cynthia Erivo, and like her version of God, what's the last song, the big song? Her version to me is like the version, like the like her version. Cynthia Erivo is alphaba, and she will be always for me. And I love Ariana Grande, and Ariana Grande as Glinda is so cute. So I'm so excited. So yes, so November 20th, if you're in San Francisco, come by to the Stud. I am part of the cast that is booked for the talent show, and the talent that I submitted myself as was cake artistry. So I will be taking the final form. It's like a Pokemon right now. It's an evolution. So by the time November 20th comes around, I will have fully developed the recipe to look like a heart, to have all the flavors lined in, to have all the colors lined in. And I will, as my talent, decorate it on stage as I'm lip syncing to a Sabrina Carpenter song. And then I'm going to offer the cake to the judges, and then maybe do one more cheeky thing before I give the cake to the judges. But if you're a San Francisco kind of person, you'll understand San Francisco cheeky sense of humor. We're very cheeky around here. Cheeky. So anywho, I need to get ready. My doggy is going to the groomer. As soon as these cakes come out, we have to get ready for the groomer. So I think what I'm going to do is get us ready for that. But thank you for hanging out with me. I'll probably be live later to practice some piping. I need to practice my piping. And then maybe tomorrow what we can do is hang out and put the cake together, because the cake doesn't, it should sit overnight to let the crumb set. But then maybe that's what we can do tomorrow. For tomorrow's live, we can get together again and put it all together and make it a proper cake. So I'm gonna go and hang out with my little dog and get ready to take her to the groomer. But thank you for hanging out with me. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, make sure to hit subscribe. It's one of the few free things we have in this economy. I hope to see you again, and if I don't see you again, I hope you have a great life. Thank you. Bye.